Yes.
Okay, good. All right, this is Administrative Agenda A03-14 of the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada, present in Carson City.
Rebecca Wagner.
Dave Noble.
And I'm Alita Burton, in Las Vegas. Item 1A is time for comments from the general public on topics pertaining to items on this agenda. Are there any members of the public wish to make a statement in Carson City?
Yes, Chairman, I have heard from Mr. Bolts for 3A, and then also again a closing comment.
Okay.
Yes, for the record, Fred Bolt. These comments refer to item 3A on today's agenda. At the April 30th administrative agenda meeting, the Commission's Executive Director gave a report on administrative fines levied or collected. In the 3.5 months since the last report, there's been a continued deterioration in the collections results. At that April meeting, the Executive Director published a 20.75% delinquency rate for assessed fines. 1 quarter later, the delinquency rate is further increased to 21.56%. When an obvious problem is identified, savvy managers take meaningful action to improve the problem rather than allowing it to fester as an open sore would. Inherent in the term public servant is working on behalf of all residents in the state to manage public funds in the most prudent manner. The deleted goals stated on pages 11 and 12 of the Commission's draft 2015 to 2020 strategic plan conflicts with previous statements that Commission attorneys have neither an interest in nor the expertise to handle collections law and court actions. Sending out increasingly threatening letters and palming off the problem to the State Controller's Office, which also has been serially unable to complete the collections, does nothing to help the state. A reasonable expectation in this situation would be for the Executive Director to meet with appropriate representatives from the State Controllers and Attorney General's offices to figure out how they can coordinate their efforts and change statutory hurdles, if necessary, to ensure state residents receive monies due them in a timely manner. Perhaps an outside collections agency needs to be hired on a contingency basis to resolve the problem if state agencies can't effectively proceed. When a defunct company has no assets and other legal recourse is impossible, shouldn't the debt be honestly written off by someone as uncollectible? The point is, no one in a position to fix this systemic problem is taking preemptive steps to do so. In some quarters, this would be called dereliction of duty or gross negligence in a judicial setting. The PUCN's fine collection problems are a microcosm of what faces each and every state agency that assesses fines. How much money is the state collectively losing to such sloppy management and indifference by people who are paid to do a job, but are failing miserably in accomplishing that particular accountability? Thank you.
Settlement card we have, Chairman.
Okay, I have one for Mr. Fazio.
Angel Fazio, this has to do with the affidavits of posting. When the statements are signed regarding the posting of notices, it is beyond the scope of physics for any one person to be at 2 places at the same time. Quantum mechanics has proven that only electrons, subatomic particles, and atoms can be at 2 places at once. I pulled the affidavits from April 24th to now, and there are 3 different people who have decided to defy the law of physics by claiming to be both at the PUC Vegas office and the Regional Justice Center, posting said notifications. Legally, they should have done one each individually to be truthful and accurate, which should have been caught by whoever reviews said affidavits prior to accepting and posting in said relevant agenda docket backup. This is the same for both the utility and administrative agendas. Northern Nevada's office has each posting done individually without combining the PUC and the Carson City Courthouse. I've pulled them here, and I'd like them entered into the record. These are not acceptable. You can't have, for example, 4:30, date posted 4/24, time posted 4/30, place. PUC Commission 9075 West Diablo and RJ Center. Can't be done, I can't determine this signature. Lacey Wynant has done quite a few, and also another gentleman. I think these need to be redone in accordance with the way they're stated.
Thank you, Mr. Fazio. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to item 2A. Ms. Tanner?
Good morning, Commissioners. Carolyn Tanner, General Counsel. This item is informational only. You previously at an agenda meeting voted on the BDR proposals that the PUCN submitted with the governor's packet of 110 BDRs. And before you are the final versions. In 1035, the first one in order, that remains unchanged. There may be a modification in the future to that one based upon discussions with the telecommunications industry as to whether or not they want to be included within this bill, and basically the definition of what a cable, what kind of high-capacity fiber optic telecommunications line would qualify as a high-consequence subsurface installation. So that may at some point get modified. But right now it remains unchanged from the point that you voted on it. Similarly, 1036, the manufactured home park issue, that got high support from the Manufactured Housing Division, and it remains unchanged from the point that you voted on it. In 1037 is the one in regards to revising certain provisions in seeking to increase annual gross operating revenues. This also got, actually what was modified was what was taken out. The initial levels, we had a piece in there initially about sorry, I'm spacing. About the general rate case levels, and that ended up getting removed entirely. And so what's before you is just the piece in regards to the letter of advice, and the only correction or alteration to the original language is on page 3, Roman numeral capital I down at the towards the bottom of the page. We changed the certification by an attorney or an affidavit by it used to read chief financial officer. We changed that to authorized representative, and that's the only change there. And on 1038, in regards to the Commission's authorities over accepting or rejecting integrated resource plans, that has been changed based upon conversations that we've had with industry and their concerns about being able to back away from suggested modifications. And so essentially what this does is allow the Commission the power to modify an IRP plan and provide that to the industry and allow them, to the utility, and allow them to either have a certain period of time within which to accept or reject those modifications. And that, I think, includes, that's the bulk of the alteration to that particular video.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none either. Okay, Ms. Jackson, item 3A.
Thank you, Chairman. Item 3A is an update on the administrative fines by docket as of the end of last fiscal year, which was June the 30th. To date, the Commission has imposed fines of approximately $1,250,000, and we've collected roughly $980,000 of that, with an outstanding balance of $270,000.
questions or comments?
I have none.
I have none.
Alrighty, let's go ahead to item 3B.
Item 3B, those are changes to our internal administrative policies. 3.1, agency travel. 3.2, state-sponsored credit cards for official travel. 3.3, agency vehicle use. 3.4, agency vehicle maintenance. And 6.1, legislative communication. Essentially, the changes for policies 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 are as a result of changes to the state administrative manual that were recently approved by the Board of Examiners. And we also have some internal housekeeping changes to those policies as well. Policy 6.1 is being recommended for removal by General Counsel's office. And this item does require commission action.
Okay, are we removing 6.1?
That is the recommendation from General Counsel's office.
Okay. Alrighty, then I would move, do we have any questions or comments?
No questions, no comments.
I have none.
Okay, then I would move that we accept the amendments as provided here today, with the exception of 6.1, and remove that.
Second.
Concur.
And then item 3C.
Item 3C is the draft strategic plan for fiscal years 2015 through 2020. The strategic plan, as you know, is required to be submitted along with the Commission's biennial budget request. The cover page of the plan was designed by Don Rivard, and the division managers have each taken their applicable sections and updated those accordingly. I do have a couple of corrections that I would like to bring to your attention on page 1. Section, let's see, on page 1, objective number 2, just to change the word from issue to issues so that we're consistent with strategy number 3 above. Also on page number 5, under goal number 4, regarding written complaints, they're referred to under strategies, objectives, and performance measures as level 1 and level 2. They should be referred to as tier 1 and tier 2. So just simply changing the word level in those instances to the word tier. Additionally, please note that some of the goals were removed from the last strategic plan, and I have listed those in the very back of the plan. This was as a result of discussions with the budget office. They've asked that we keep our goals to 10 or less. We felt that the goals that were eliminated were internal in nature rather than statewide priorities identified by the governor, and we already track our internal goals. So for example, one of the goals that was eliminated was to effectively monitor and control regulatory assessments, surcharges, fees, and administrative fines. We already have internal procedures and processes that are followed, and we have external auditors that come in and verify that those tasks are performed according to procedure. Additionally, these types of measurements are always 100%, which are not meaningful in a strategic plan. And this item is an action item for the commission today.
Alrighty, any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
I have none.
I would move that we accept the strategic plan provided by the executive director. With the modifications identified.
Second.
Concur.
Item 3D.
Chairman, no reports from representatives were filed for this agenda pertaining to this item.
Okay. How about 3E?
Nothing further, Chairman, thank you.
Alrighty. Okay, so we move to item 4, which is public comment. Anyone in Carson City?
Yeah, Mr. Bolts?
For the record, Fred Bolts. During the April administrative meeting, public comments were made about several questionable expenses proposed in the fiscal year 2015 commission budget. One of those items bears further comment and investigation of alternatives. It was suggested that almost $50,000 of proposed outside legal expense be approved to hire law firms in Washington, D.C. who could represent the commission in person before FERC. This money has yet to be spent. The speaker was later approached by the commission's general counsel, who proceeded to explain that the amount at issue was relatively minor given the billable hourly rates of private utility-focused attorneys in Washington, D.C., and was less expensive than having commission counsel travel to D.C. for personal appearances. The commission's general counsel subsequently confirmed that existing commission attorneys had the ability and experience to represent the commission before FERC in response to a question asked of her during the same conversation. Curious about the status of FERC video conferencing capabilities, contact was made with the administrative law judge area and the director's office at FERC's DC headquarters. Both entities confirmed that video conferencing capabilities were available in each and every DC FERC hearing room, and that hearing officers and the full FERC commission encouraged such appearances as a time and money saver. This research demonstrates that the fiscal year 2015 budgeted number for outside legal expense should be completely eliminated as an unnecessary and wasteful expense. Here is another instance where spending someone else's money causes little concern for the public official perpetrating the expense. Is it any wonder government agencies are viewed with suspicion and disdain? Thank you.
I have no other cards, Chairman.
And I have no other cards either, so we're adjourned.
Can I stand?